Some moments in life come without warning. 1 second, everything is as it should be, and the next, the ground shifts beneath your feet, changing everything. That night, I wasn't prepared for what was coming. I wasn't ready for the request that would leave me breathless, frozen, questioning everything I thought I knew. It started as an ordinary evening. The house was quiet, wrapped in the kind of silence that comes only when you're truly alone. My mother had left town for a few days, leaving just me and my stepfather at home. It wasn't unusual. We had spent time alone before, but something about tonight felt different. I couldn't shake the feeling. It was like an itch at the back of my mind, something telling me that the air in the house was heavier than usual. I tried to ignore it, tried to focus on the book in my lap, the warmth of my blanket, the flickering glow of the lamp beside me. But the unease wouldn't go away. Then I heard footsteps. Slow, measured, moving toward my room. I lifted my head just as a soft knock sounded against my door. My pulse quickened. I wasn't sure why. "Come in," I called, sitting up a little straighter. The door creaked open, and there he was. My stepfather. Standing in the dim hallway, his expression unreadable. "Hey, can I come in?" His voice was low, careful, as if he wasn't sure of my answer. That alone was enough to set my nerves on edge. He had never asked before. He had always just walked in without a second thought. I nodded, my fingers tightening around the edge of my blanket. "Yeah, of course." He stepped inside, closing the door behind him, his movements slower than usual, almost hesitant. He looked different tonight, less composed, his usual confidence missing. His hair was slightly disheveled, his t-shirt wrinkled as if he had been running his hands through it. Something was bothering him. "What's wrong?" I asked, my voice softer now. He let out a slow breath, running a hand over his face. "There's something I need to ask you." My stomach twisted. There was something about the way he said it, something weighted, something that sent a slow, curling sensation through my body. I swallowed hard, forcing a small, nervous laugh. "Okay, what is it?" He hesitated, just for a moment. But then, "Promise me you won't freak out." That made my heart race. I stiffened slightly, shifting in my seat. "That depends on what you're about to say." He exhaled sharply, his jaw clenching. He looked like he was battling something inside himself, like the words he wanted to say were stuck in his throat. Then, finally, he met my gaze. "I need something from you. And I don't know how to ask." My breath caught. The way he was looking at me, intense, unreadable, it sent a shiver down my spine. I licked my lips, suddenly aware of how dry my mouth had gone. "What do you mean?" His fingers curled into fists at his sides. "Just, hear me out, okay?" The air in the room shifted. The tension was thick, crackling like a live wire between us. I could hear the pounding of my heartbeat, could feel the weight of his gaze pressing against me. He took a slow step forward. Not enough to be intimidating, but enough to make my breath hitch. I wouldn't be asking if it wasn't important. I swallowed hard, my fingers gripping the blanket in my lap. "Just say it." He hesitated one last time. Then, finally, "I need you to trust me." The words sent a shiver through me. Because deep down, I already knew. This wasn't just any request. This was something that would change everything. And no matter what I said next, there was no going back. The silence stretched between us, thick and unbreakable. His expression remained unreadable, but his eyes, they were heavy with something I wasn't sure I wanted to name. I inhaled sharply. "What are you talking about?" His fingers flexed at his sides. "I don't know how to say it without making it sound bad." I blinked, my stomach twisting into knots. "Then just say it." He let out a quiet, humorless laugh, running a hand through his hair. Easier said than done. I shifted slightly, pressing my back against the headboard, suddenly needing as much distance between us as possible. "You're scaring me." His expression softened just slightly, his jaw unclenching, his eyes flickering with something close to regret. "That's the last thing I want to do. Then tell me the truth." His lips parted, but for a long moment, no words came out. The hesitation only made my pulse quicken, my mind racing with every possible scenario. Finally, he took a slow breath, his voice barely above a whisper. "I need you to help me with something." That wasn't what I had expected. I swallowed, my throat dry. "Help you with what?" He hesitated. Then, "It's complicated." A chill ran down my spine. Something about the way he said it, about the way he was looking at me, made my skin prickle. I wasn't sure if I wanted to know the answer, but I asked anyway. "What do you need from me?" He exhaled slowly, and when he spoke next, his voice was barely above a whisper. "Something only you can give me." My heart slammed against my ribs. I didn't know what he meant. Not yet, but I knew one thing for certain. This was the moment everything changed, and I wasn't ready for what came next. The weight of his words pressed down on me, thick and suffocating. "Something only you can give me." I gripped the blanket in my lap, my pulse hammering against my ribs. My breath came short and uneven, my mind scrambling to make sense of what he had just said. The silence between us stretched unbearably long, filling the space with an intensity one wasn't sure I could handle. I forced my voice to work. "What does that mean?" He exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "I just need you to listen. No assumptions. No overreacting." I stiffened. "Then say it." He hesitated, and for a split second, I thought he might take it back. But then, "I need your help." And I didn't know how else to ask. Relief flooded through me, but it was quickly replaced by wariness. "Help with what?" His fingers flexed at his sides before he finally met my gaze. "Something personal. Something I can't talk to anyone else about." I swallowed hard. "Then why me?" He let out a quiet, humorless laugh. "Because you're the only person I trust." I didn't know what to say to that. The tension in the room still clung to me, but something about his voice, low, honest, raw, made me pause. I sighed, rubbing my temple. "You scared me, you know that?" A small smirk tugged at the corner of his lips, though it didn't quite reach his eyes. "Yeah, I know." I shook my head, exhaling shakily. "Just, don't do that again." He nodded slowly. "I won't." Another silence settled between us, but this time, it wasn't as heavy. The weight of the unknown had lifted, even if just a little. I still didn't know exactly what he needed from me, but for now, I had my answer. And that had to be enough. "Good night." His voice was quieter now, softer. He turned toward the door, his posture more relaxed than when he had come in. As he walked out, I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. The door clicked shut. I was alone again. But somehow, it didn't feel the same. I lay back against my pillow, staring at the ceiling, my mind still replaying the conversation. What had he been so afraid to say? Why did it feel like there was more, something unspoken, something hovering just beneath the surface? Sleep didn't come easily that night. I kept thinking about his words, the way his voice had sounded, the look in his eyes that I couldn't quite place. I wanted to believe that things would go back to normal. That whatever had just happened would fade into the background, forgotten by morning. But deep down, I knew better. Something had changed. And there was no going back.